Please help me. My F23, BF, M29, told me he feels he can rape me if he wants. I don't know what to do and I don't feel safe. I am 13 weeks pregnant and don't have a job. I met a guy and moved in with him 7 months ago and he got me pregnant. With the pandemic going on I wasn't able to find a job before becoming pregnant, and then my BF's mom told me not to as it posed a risk to me and the baby. My BF owns his own company and makes his own hours, working for maybe 5 days a week for maybe 5 hours a day. Yesterday I had a doctor appointment for genetic testing and an ultrasound that my BF did not take me to. Then his mom took me to get something to eat and dropped me off at home. I was gone a good portion of the day and was exhausted when I got home. I wanted to just relax on the couch and hang out for a little while. That's when shit hit the fan. My BF could tell I was tired and knew I had been gone all day. Instead of being loving and giving me cute kiss and tucking me into bed, he got angry. He got so mad he started to try and manipulate me into having sex with him. I told him I wasn't in the mood and went into the bathroom. He stood in front of the door and wouldn't let me pass. When I tried to push through, he grabbed my arm and turned me around forcibly. I have been raped in the past, so this led to a PTSD flashback. I immediately started crying uncontrollably. He started to tell at me, saying I am being selfish. I was curled in a ball crying on the bed waiting for him to leave me alone when he said that I don't do enough around the house. I don't contribute enough in his eyes, so he should be able to have sex with me whenever he feels like it, even when I don't want to. I held the covers tight and prayed that he wouldn't rape me then and there. After about 10 minutes of making me feel like shit for being tired, he thought I fell asleep and ended up leaving me alone for the night. Anyways, I don't feel safe and I need help with an exit plan. I have no car and everyone in my family is at least a 4-hour car ride from where I am. Any advice would be helpful. And for those wondering, I have it on tape him saying he feels he can have sex with me regardless of how I feel about it. Any advice? Please. Update: I tried to leave around 6 this morning and he would not let me leave. He trapped me in the house and physically held me there. I knew if I pulled out my phone to call the cops it would get bad. I called my mom. While I was on the phone with her, he tried to take the phone from me and pulled my bag back so hard my feet came off the ground and I lost my breath on impact. As I was laying there crying, his dad showed up and my mom screamed through the phone that he let me leave right then or she was calling the cops. I grabbed 3D my bag, QND wallet and left. The maintenance man for the apartment complex we live at saw me hiding from him and offered to let me stay in his shed until my BF left. Once he was gone, I got on a bus and told the bus driver I was running from an abusive situation and needed to get to the Greyhound. My mom, who lives in Kentucky, bought me a Greyhound to come out and live with her. It was scary and terrifying, but I made it out. Thank you all for your advice and support. I'm still really scared and alone, but I will make it through this. Contact your family. Ask for money, if you don't have it, for a way to get to them or for them to come and get you. Don't tell your BF anything or let on you are going until after you are gone. Once you are gone, do not look back in any way, no matter what he says. Keep all the recordings or documents you have for the inevitable future court cases regarding custody or payments, etc. Good luck. Hey, fellow internet stranger here. Reached out via message and offered a ride. I live 4 hours out of Vegas and have family there. Offered a ride if needed. Totally understand that this in itself can be a potentially dangerous situation, trusting strangers online. I am a 24M, but am willing and able to help. Let me know and I can drive out today. 4 hours is not that far away. If anyone in your family has a car, you need to tell them ASAP. They could potentially get you in 4 hours. The other advice here about the shelters and hotlines is really good and you should take it. But your family needs to know right now or they won't be able to help you quickly. Find a women's shelter ASAP, they will help you leave. That's abusive and he's gaslighting you. Get out ASAP. Send the video of him saying that to you to yourself in an email to make sure it can't be deleted. Get to a women's shelter immediately. Please, please, please do not stay or ever go back. No matter how much he apologizes, this is just the beginning of a very abusive relationship. If you decide to keep the baby, you will never want him to be a part of this kid's life. Good luck and I'm sorry you are going through this. Boyfriend, 55M, doesn't want to get married to me, 34M, after 15 years of living together. Should I reconsider the relationship? My boyfriend and I have been together for 15 years, we call each other husband but we're not legally married. We did get engaged 11 years ago in Mexico. When I met him he had his own house and a business and I was going to college and starting a career in hospitality industry. He complained that he doesn't see me enough and encouraged me to quit college, so I did. We've been living together for 14.5 years, he told me not to worry about rent or bills, as long as I can pay for my personal bills, and it's been that way since then. I helped him with the business, promoting it, doing renovations and repairs etc. He complained that we need to go on vacation and encouraged me to quit my job because the business can take care of both of us. I did and we had a great time. After a while he called me an irresponsible freeloader and I went back to work for Marriott. The situation repeated a few times. Whenever I had a chance to advance at work and start an actual career he would encourage me to quit and just live off the business. Fast forward a few years and we decided to sell the house and business and move to Florida. He told me we will have our names on both the new house and the new business. It didn't happen. I helped him start the business, did renovation, set up, promoting, social media and graphic design, but my name is nowhere on the official documents. I'm starting to get worried because we don't even have a living will, and due to the age difference I'm afraid that if something happens to him his family will come after everything we built together and I'll be left with nothing, no career, no college degree and no house or business. But he tells me that his family wouldn't do that and not to worry about it. My parents gave my sister a house and they wanted to buy one for me as well a few times, in the neighborhood of where we live so I could rent it and pay the taxes and some of the mortgage. But it turned into a huge fight with him asking why would we need two houses? I feel like he's got total control over me and if I leave him I'll be leaving in a box under a bridge. The only thing I own is my car, a computer and my clothes plus some books and furniture. I've brought up marriage over the years but he keeps saying he doesn't want to mess up a good thing since he's seen how marriage makes relationships go sour, which I think is bullshit. Lately I've been pressing the marriage issue more, telling him that if anything happens I'm fucked. Just a 34-year-old man with no career and no recent job record other than working for his business for cash. He refuses to talk about it and I'm at my wit's end. I'm wasting my life away in this relationship. We no guarantee that I won't end up on the streets when he gets tired of me. This week my car broke down, I took it to the mechanic and he gave me a quote. I called my husband to tell him that it's too much and I can't afford it, to which he said the business can front you the money and I can dock your pay $200 a week, which totally shocked me. Is this what relationships are supposed to be like? I believe in owning things together and being there for each other through thick and thin, through sickness and health. But at this point I think I might have to start playing a loving partner while saving whatever money I can and start planning an escape. My parents wanted to get me a house 3 times and wanted to pay for my school more than that. It's always turned into a big fight where I was made to feel like an asshole for wanting to have something of my own. Am I going crazy or does this seem like a bad relationship? Too long didn't read. Boyfriend of 15 years won't get married, won't let me own anything of my own and won't let me go back to school without a fight. What do I do? Please leave up. This relationship isn't the best for you. It doesn't nourish your soul. My mom was in a relationship for 10 years. She lived with her ex, supported his business, cashed out her $401k for their retirement, among other things. She wasn't on the house deed, wasn't a co-owner of the business and wasn't married even after being engaged for years. She was left with pretty much nothing when she left him. Please take heed. Your boyfriend is controlling you financially and making you feel less than you are. We are the same age. You are still young enough to go after your dreams. Go get your degree, live in the house your parents so lovingly will give you, be in a fulfilling relationship, whatever you want to do. I was an older student when I got my BS and the feeling of walking across the stage was one of the best moments of my life. I am rooting for you. Your whole life, including financial freedom, is out there, ready for you to flourish. Sparkles. What you've identified as a bug in your relationship is actually a desired feature designed by your BF. He's been financially manipulating you and controlling you for years. He's engineered it so that you are financially dependent so he can control you, and so you cannot leave the relationship. Every time there was a hint of your becoming independent, he closed that down by dangling bait in front of you that he never intended to deliver. At the same time, you've actually been contributing to his financial success, at your own expense. Everything you've built belongs to him, and, if he dies, his family will owe you nothing and can toss you out of your home at their pleasure. He's not marrying you because it would give you more rights than you currently have. Don't you think there is a reason why a 40-year-old started dating a 20-year-old all those years ago? While age differences are not necessarily a huge red flag, it is definitely something to be mindful of when dating, especially when combined with his overt financial manipulation. How often do you defer to his judgment? Does he reference his experience and being older as a justification for his actions or bulldoze over your objections? Does he imply that you'll grow out of certain ideas you have or will understand when you have more experience? Does he both use his age or experience as a weapon and defense for his actions, to justify his actions or mitigate them? Do you ever feel your age or lack of experience is a liability in your relationship or when you have a disagreement with him? We know he uses money to control you and sabotages any attempt you make to improve your personal situation. Frankly, that itself is enough for me to say run. This seems like an extremely manipulative situation. Like super messed up. He needs to have all the control and probably gets off on you depending entirely on him. Even the fact that he asked you to quit college right from the get-go was a huge red flag to me. I don't really know how to help with any advice. Hopefully your parents can help you. Seems like you've tried to communicate all this with him and he's not listening, so I would leave, but I also understand that your situation is tough and it would be extremely hard to leave. I guess if I were you I would start seriously looking at how you could support yourself if you left this situation and make a plan. That's a really awful situation to be in. I'm so sorry. I hope it work out for you and you find something that makes you feel happy and fulfilled. Thank you. Yes, I'm slowly starting to wake up to what's really going on. Unfortunately it's a little too late. I've dug myself a really deep hole and it's going to take a lot of time to get myself out of it. For the past few months I've been spending all my spare money on paying off all my credit cards so that way I have a little less to worry about if the shit hits the fan. I can't believe how easily manipulated and naive I've been. This feels like a form of financial abuse and control. Of course he doesn't want to get married, then you'd have a legal right to some portion of the family assets if you divorce. I would quietly look into a divorce/family law attorney to see what kind of standing you might have to get financial support if you were to split up, before raising it with your partner. I had some legal standing when we lived in New Jersey since they have common law marriages. I looked into it recently and Florida has zero recognition of common law marriage, so I'm pretty much screwed here. He is using you. He is not going to marry you. He is not going to put you in the will. You are his sugar baby. Pretty much. He preyed on an 18-year-old and convinced you to quit school, your job, making you dependent on him. That's a manipulation tactic. That's why he doesn't want your parents to buy you a house. He doesn't want you independent from him. You need security, and he isn't going to provide it. He doesn't want to. Not a sugar baby. Older boyfriend is a splendid daddy. Claims to care about him and wants to support him but complains and guilt trips the whole time. My 23M mother-in-law, 39F, is a danger to her two daughters, 13F and 14F, and keeps bringing strange men around them. It's been a rough week. Buckle up, folks. It's a bumpy ride. Me, 23M, and my wife, 22F, have been married over 2 years and have been together for 5. We have a good relationship. I feel that this information is crucial. Her family has always been, we'll say, less than pleasant. Not only have I been physically threatened by one of her family members for an unrelated issue, but her grandmother is a hoarder and lives in a nasty house. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Her mother is batshit insane at this point. After having my wife, she had 2 little girls, 13F and 14F. My wife and I have always had a good relationship with them. We never agreed with her mom's parenting style. Keep in mind that my wife wasn't raised by her mother due to her crazy behavior, but more on that later. But we always felt that their needs were at least being met. From the time I came into the picture, the mother-in-law was living with her boyfriend. About 2 months ago, they separated, and it was ugly. Her mom, jobless for years, finally got a job making $12 an hour. She moved in with her hoarder mother, my grandmother-in-law. She and the 2 teenage girls are now sleeping in a room about the size of an average hotel bathroom. The mom is sleeping on the bed and the 2 girls are sleeping on the floor. The floor is permanently stained with urine and the house is infested with fleas, bed bugs, and God knows what else. We were appropriately concerned, but as long as my mother-in-law was doing everything she could to get out and take care of the girls, we didn't mind. We told the girls our door was always open to them. Then things changed 3 days after the separation. My mother-in-law found herself a new boyfriend, whom we met at a bar. Charming. She was rarely home. She would work, occasionally cook food, then leave with this guy. We were fed up and invited the girls to stay the weekend with us. They refused to sleep on our couch, saying how they were used to the floor. They told us how their mom was never home and their grandparents are becoming a little more senile each day. After we took them home, we decided to convert one of our extra rooms into a bedroom for the 2 of them. We purchased beds, an organizer, lamp, and all of the other necessities. We even started buying extra food at the store to make sure they had enough. They eventually stayed with us another weekend, but they begged to stay longer. We ended up having them for over 8 days, and they both expressed that they wanted to live with us permanently. Keep in mind that my wife already brought this up with her mother, whose response was, well, what about me? She didn't want the girls to live with us because she didn't feel that there was an issue. Fast forward to this past Sunday. The mom wanted the girls to back to their hoarder grandmas. Not a whole lot we could do about it, so we invited her over to dinner. 1 hour before she was supposed to arrive, she called and said she was bringing her boyfriend. None of us wanted that, so my wife talked to her. The discussion was escalating, so I took the girls for a drive to clear their thoughts. They told me that they felt stuck, like she didn't care about them, and they were tired of being dragged around to the man of the week's place. They also told me that their mom was already talking about moving in with this guy and was planning on dragging them along. We get back home and my wife tells me privately that her mom has said a lot of horrible things. One of the sisters had problems with self-harm in the past, largely due to her mom's choices. She told her mom, "What's it going to take for you to realize you're hurting these girls? What if one of them ends up dead on your floor because they killed themselves?" The mom replied with, "If they kill themselves, that's not my fault. That just means they're too weak to keep on living." We asked what she'd do if the girls didn't want to live with this guy. She said, "I'm the adult, they're the kids." My mother-in-law was also offended that we had a room for them with beds. She asked why we did that. We told her it was because they were sleeping on a nasty, piss-coated floor. We wanted them to always feel that they had a place to stay with us. She said there wasn't a problem and we shouldn't have bought them beds. She also accused my wife of not taking her medication and that she should go back to counseling because of how disrespectful she was being. The girls ended up going home, and they were practically in tears because we had to tell them that legally, there wasn't much we can do. She has custody, so she calls the shots. Other highlights of the girls' time with us include them being shocked when my wife apologized to them for upsetting them. They were confused as to why an adult would apologize to them. They also hardly eat and refuse gifts because they were raised with the mentality that they owed something to whomever gave them gifts. My little sisters are miserable, and their lives are only going to get worse from where I'm standing. My wife and I want to take care of them, but their mom doesn't see any issues. Too long didn't read. My little sisters are being emotionally abused by their mother, who doesn't care if they end up committing suicide. They are sleeping on a piss-covered floor in an unsanitary house. She's going to drag them to live with her boyfriend. My wife and I are beyond crushed witnessing this. What should we do to keep caring for these girls? Any legal advice here would be welcome too, but I just want to know that we're not overreacting.